Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny and I'm very happy to see all of the new subscribers that I have. Somebody must have talked about me on YouTube because I had a huge jump in subscriptions. So, welcome to all of you. I'm very happy to have you here. We are a very easygoing, laid back community. I look at these videos as having a chat with some friends, and that's how when I see our energies interacting, I see that we are not strangers to one another. We've known each other other places, other times, and I'm very happy to have all of the new subscribers and to everybody who has been with me for a while. I'm grateful for all of you as well. And I want to thank you again. I want you to know that your encouraging words and in the comments and the emails, that I don't take that for granted. I'm very grateful to all of you for your support and encouragement. One of you had posted on Facebook that you looked up, I think it was Stephen Farmer. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the meaning of the squirrel. Remember when I saw the squirrel swishing his tail, and it was about being confident in speaking the truth. And I can't remember what the rest of it was, but I knew that courage moving forward, Metatron is saying. So, yeah, thank you for looking that up. That was interesting, especially because I said it out loud. I usually don't, announce things like that. So I thought that I would share that with all of you. So, how's everybody doing? We're still in it. We're still in the throes of these energies that we've been talking about. We began this month with a new moon that was in conjunction with Pluto, the god of death and rebirth. And now we're having a full moon in a couple of days that has Venus with Pluto. So, Venus and Pluto together are gold. Pluto rules like the riches of the earth, the seas. This is copper. Venus is copper, and I keep her with me. But when you have those energies together, then we're talking about digging down into the deep to find what is truly valuable and sort of laying waste to the rest of it. So I was going to mention when I did the new moon video that the dragons were with me. And they've been around. I've shared before that I, can see my personal dragon. I don't know if any of you have been fortuitous enough to see that. But I'm going to go get my dragon that somebody gave me. I meant to grab that and put it on the altar. Hang on one second. Okay, so this little guy is made of Kambaba jasper. And my friend gave him to me as a gift because the scales of my dragon are this color. So, anyway, I wanted to share that with all of you. And I think she's going to leave some information about Kambaba Jasper in the comments. So, it's funny because they were telling me, that they were with me. But I was thinking, well, I'm going to talk about it next week. So, no need to mention. And then I think I haven't read any writings or watched the videos, but I know a lot of people have come out with dragon messages this past week, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, so we pulled cards together to do a reading. Of course, I always speak to any other energy. I link through the network, the hookup of the creator's pure love and highest truth vibration of Metatron. And so we worked on this reading together. So it's, I think it's important for us to remember that as this full moon, which is quite intense, anytime that we have Pluto involved, then we're talking about intense energy. And with this full moon, Mercury, we're in those full moon energies. So it's on the 28th, 29th for some of you. And then the 30th or 31st, is there a January 31st? Yeah, I think so. Then, those full moon energies are going to just keep going, right? Because Mercury is going to make sure that we get these messages, the messenger of the gods, and also the trickster. When he loves Aquarius because that's the sign that we link the most with genius. So it's a good place for him to be retrograde. I'm glad that we're having Mercury retrograde in air this year. I mentioned before that the past 2020 and 2019, Mercury went retrograde in water, which is not as easy emotionally. So when we're talking about Aquarius, then of course that's linking to the cosmic self, the soul family, also community, humanity as a whole. But it can be just those lightning fast downloads that come in where a lot of times too we can have healing sessions. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't want that happening because I'm talking about Mercury retrograde, if that's what's going on. I'm like fumbling for words. I'm like, no, I'm not going to play that game. But a lot of times when we get those flashes of insight, that's Uranian. So just know that that's going to be happening because during Mercury retrograde and in the month of February, we have Pallas Athena, Venus, Mercury, the Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn are all in Aquarius. And so as Mercury moves through, he'll be hitting some of them 3 times. So, not all of them, but he is going to be coming into contact with, Jupiter. And so we're always with Mercury retrograde, we're reviewing, revising, but, a lot of times in healing sessions and when we take classes or reading, we can see the same thing. And someone can say the same thing to us or different people 5 or 6 times. And then one night, just sitting by ourselves thinking about something completely different, it just shows up like, oh, I understand what that means. So, and we're always getting deeper meanings, right? So, and he's talking now, Metatron is pointing out symbols and symbolism and how we could be redefining meaning that we have with symbols and symbolism. So I don't know what that's about, but yeah. Whenever he says something while I'm talking, then it's important that I share that. So that's for somebody. But yeah, that it's all, even angelic language would be covered in that, or light language, however you refer to it. But let's go over the date. So Mercury went into shadow on the 14th. That same day, Uranus moved forward. So Uranus, as the ruler of Aquarius, is ruling this retrograde. And I don't know if any of you had the experience, but I know that some clients did, and people I know personally that day had issues with technology. My mother and my son were texting me, obviously on different threads, and I was texting both of them back and forth. And my son's text, which I knew it was him because of what he said, but it came through on my mom's thread. I was like, oh, what kind of devil's handiwork is this? Like, just kidding. But I mean, it's weird, right? So yeah, but you can always ask for protection for technology. Things may be a little glitchy. I haven't heard of any geomagnetic storms coming in or anything significant, that we need to look out for there. I don't pay attention to spaceweather.com, just so you know, because they a lot of times will come up with things that are not on NOAA. They're the definitive site. That's where everyone gets the information for what's going on. So I can put that link down. If I forget to put that in the description box, then somebody please remind me. So yeah, it's the 28th or 29th, depending on where you are, that Mercury will move retrograde. And then he will move out of retrograde February 20th or 21st, depending on where you are. he will clear shadow on the 12th of March. So I pulled cards for the full moon, but also covering the energy that we're in during this Mercury retrograde. I had a deck a while ago, an oracle deck of dragons, or dragon oracle deck, and I didn't care for it, so I gave that to charity. Always with your cards, you can give them away, even if the author has changed her mind. Still, the creator can speak through anything. So I encourage you, like, if you need to, kind of clear that out. And that's always good with the Mercury retrograde too. Make room for gifts and blessings is what Metatron is saying, because Jupiter will be involved with this retrograde. And a lot of times we can block our abundance just because, we don't want to get rid of the clothes that we've outgrown. Some people might do that, might hang on thinking that someday they'll fit back into those clothes. But, I just want to encourage everyone, take a look in the closets and clean stuff out. It's a good time to be doing that right now. And there's so many people who need right now. Also, because all of these planets are in the sign of humanity, I just want to remind everyone that people are really struggling, going without food. I know in the United States recently, just this past week, there was some poll that said that 1 in 7 adults says that their children don't have enough to eat right now. So if you're able to give it all, if you're not, just don't worry, no reason to feel guilty. But if you can give it all, try to give to an organization that you're sure will deliver the food, or, volunteering with homeless, anything like that. Is good to do while all of this is happening in the sign of humanity. And always too, with Aquarius and Uranus, it's what's best for all that is. Like Uranus transits can be rough because the tornado can just come in and nothing looks the same. It changes the landscape of our lives, but in the end it is beneficial. This is the sign of the star in tarot, the blessing card. So I bought new cards, and they actually came early, so I was like, okay, good. But they're tarot. They're just dragon tarot cards. So we pulled cards before I started the video. And so let us read those. And this is going to be probably a long video because I pulled these cards. And then he asked me to pull some from another deck as well. So, and I didn't mark the pages, so it's going to be a little bit longer than normally would be. So the first card that I pulled is, and I am going to read instead of going by my interpretation of tarot, because I know tarot as well. But he asked me to read directly from the book. And so that's what I'm going to do for these cards. Everybody, just like anytime we watch tarot readings, we get different messages depending on what's happening with us. So the first card that we have is the 8 of Wands. And I think I'm going to wear my glasses. All right. Okay, so here we go. 8 of Wands. And the 8 indicates sudden progress that is possibly too fast for comfort. So try to slow things down a little and avoid over hasty decisions that you might later regret. This is an exciting and well-starred time with travel, new business partnerships, and long-term romance all likely. Just bear in mind that life is not always this easy, and plan for those rainy days. And so what he was talking about with picking up speed is being mindful of, not biting off more than we can chew, or rushing in without a stable foundation already in place. And I don't know about travel, but maybe some of us are traveling. But yeah. 8 of Wands, nice card. So then we have the 3 of Wands is the next card. And this is success and recognition are yours for the taking. Therefore, this is a good time for beginning new long-term enterprises, especially in the fields of arts and crafts, although it may be some time before the financial rewards come to you. Meanwhile, simply enjoy exercising your talents and have faith that others will equally enjoy what you do. So, anytime what we're talking about Leo, which is where we're having the full moon, then we're tapping into our creative gifts, our inspirational fire that we draw on that helps us bring to fruition joy in our vibration, and then to share with all that is. But if there are things that you enjoy doing that you don't want to share necessarily, then do it for yourself. The most important part of the process is coming to joy. Because anytime our vibrations are in that, if we are carrying the vibration of joy, it spreads, it's contagious, it affects all that is. And then next, we have the 9 of Pentacles. Good cards. You are likely to receive a substantial reward for your accomplishments, and you will be able to afford to relax and enjoy your more contemplative inclinations. However, because your friends have been with you through the darker times, remember to bless them and thank them for the help that they've given you more than you may know that others have helped. Okay, and then this next card came up reversed. And so because it was reversed, and remember that with the Mars square Uranus, or sorry, Saturn, Saturn square Mars that we're having, that, we just went through, and now we're going to have Saturn squaring Uranus. That slow, steady progress is the way to go right now. When Mars meets Uranus and Jupiter is involved, which it was, we can bite off more than we can chew. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay. All right, and then the Ace of Swords, it came up upside down. The Ace of Swords represents danger and the possible collapse of your dreams through pride and insensitivity, but it must be remembered that often grim endings are needed before fresh beginnings. Plan for the long term. And what he was saying in relation to danger just means that things may not come off as planned. That's what he just said. Those were his exact words. And then, anytime that we have a goal in mind that we'd like to get to, it can change. And that's that Saturn square Uranus that, changes to structures. And then because it was was upside down, I pulled the devil, or I pulled a clarifier, and it was the devil. Hang on one second. Let me find the devil. And then that also came up reversed. This is a really easy, for those of you who are interested in learning tarot. I learned it a really challenging way. But this is really simple. And of course, I'll put the deck. It's called the Dragon Tarot. It's by Nigel Suckling. And I will put that in the description box below. Okay, there's a little guy upside down. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. The reverse card signifies the end of an ill-started period of delusion when it's time to crawl from the ruins and begin again. There is still some danger, but if you listen to the promptings of the angel on one shoulder and ignore the devil on the other, you can find renewal. So I want to just tell you, like, from where I am, like, what this means for me, because a lot of you may be going through the same thing. This is like where we start out on something and we get to, let's say the third step and we realize, or the fifth or the seventh, and we realize, like, oh, wait, I forgot something on the first step that I haven't completed, haven't solidified. Now I need to go back to the drawing board and plant a new foundation, because otherwise I can do 7, but when I get to 8, it's going to crumble like a house of cards because the foundation isn't in place completely. So if things do come up like that, we're still in, and through this year, change and a lot of different things happening, coming at us. And that's just on the individual level. We don't even know how it's going to play out collectively, that Saturn square Uranus. The next card is 6 of Pentacles. Financial success comes your way, and justice demands that you pass the favor along. Just as others have taken a gamble on your talents, now it's time for you to do the same, either by sponsoring some struggling aspirant or simply by sharing some of your profits with the less fortunate in the world. So that's the second card that we've had about sharing the wealth. It's funny because I wasn't even going to mention anything about giving to organizations, but that is Aquarian energy as well. And then next, I'm so happy to see this card. Thank you, Creator. I'm always happy to see this card. All right, where is it? You guessed it. The Tower. Shock, revolution, loss, uncertainty. The Tower of stale, outmoded belief is toppled by the dragon of repressed natural instincts. The falling figures represent the plunge into confusion that comes with the shattering of long-held convictions. They also reflect Adam and Eve, cast out of Eden into the mortal world, which is the fable in the Bible. Having for the first time to feed and clothe themselves, or children being cast out of the home. It's funny because I didn't even realize, I never read the card in the book because I know the Tower. But he was just talking to me a few nights ago about the parable of Adam and Eve, not fables as much as parable, because it's like a story that was told in relation to how we came to be. So when we began, when we were living here, it was a utopia. Everything was all, no dark, no shadow, no competition, no silly nonsense. Just little light beings in our pretty energy bodies, our crystalline bodies. And then it was the feminine who opened, he's saying the gateway for free will choice. And, the shadow did then come to be on the planet. And then we were no longer protected, right? We then began, he's saying, the long and arduous process of each human being digging down into their hearts, finding out what they're capable of, recognizing that they're a part of all that is, and as quantum physics teaches us, able to co-create their reality through the vibration of pure unconditional love and acceptance of the whole and harmony. And so it's interesting that he brought that up. But that is healing that we do a lot of times with the feminine, because because of the way that it played out, then it was like the feminine were, he's saying, condemned. And so interesting that he brought that up, because Venus meeting Pluto, right, on a full moon. So that's very interesting. But upright, the meaning is, without warning, the old order breaks down and chaos breaks loose. Upheaval, betrayal, and failure all threaten to shake the belief in self. This is a common card for people facing challenges of midlife, although love can create similar havoc at any age, as can politics, war, and business. Such revolutions always lead to clearer understanding in the long term. So that is quite interesting. Tower for everybody. And he's also bringing up remembering that you're resilient, and that he's talking about like things that we may have accomplished in the past coming back, and the rewards of what we have invested into our own progress now, those rewards coming to fruition as well. Do you want me to grab that? Oh, right. Okay. And then this is the card that was underlying or under at the bottom of the deck. This was like overlying the reading as the star card. Hope, rebirth, inspiration, and truth. I need my glasses. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, sorry. It's a Mercury retrograde video. That's just what I'm going to say as the reason. Okay. The star. Like that of the Magi over Bethlehem, the great star is the portent of a new beginning. The change will take time to manifest, but this most optimistic card signals the return of hope after a period of trial and tribulation. The dragon pouring water of life into the lake and onto the land is truth, whose blinding clarity lights the path from trouble to peace. Like the return of spring after winter, the star signals rebirth in any or all aspects of life and the relaxing of restraints. After an illness, the star indicates the return of health. After a period of frustration in relationships or work, it promises the return of joy and the blossoming of new partnerships. This is a good time to begin any new venture or to travel. And when you're doing manifesting, and part of your what you'd like to see in the future is travel, then that is a good idea to start now. Like, what could you do for that now? Are there contacts you could make? Could you just do a little investigating about the place that you would like to go? Just planting that seed. And that's an interesting, referring to the Star of Bethlehem, since we just had Saturn and Jupiter meeting together in Aquarius in the sign of the star, and the Star of the Magi was most likely them, probably in a different sign, but interesting all the same. So on the 1st or 2nd of February, that is when Venus is going to move into Aquarius. So, we want to be careful with how we're addressing things in partnership. I know a lot of people right now are really going through it in the relationship, whatever their major relationship is. So, just keep in mind that there can be misunderstandings during these retrogrades, especially if it's a text or an email, because you can't control how people are reading what you've written. So just always good to be mindful of that, when we're in a retrograde energy. And then he asked me to pull from the Earth Warriors Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I enjoyed this deck quite a bit. I've had this for years, and this will also be in the description box. If you guys have, always read the description box, because sometimes he gives me more information as I'm writing the description box. Sometimes not at all, but there are a lot of times when I think I hope people read the description box, because he adds things then. Okay, so the White Buffalo Woman. Hopeful heart, see her sign. Have hope, for you are pure of heart, and White Buffalo Woman appears as the divine sign of rebirth and harmony. She is the way shower who lives as one with Great Spirit. She teaches the practices that will free and empower us all. She heralds the birth of the divine upon a new earth. You are held in her heart, and you will recognize her beautiful grace of spirit in your own. This oracle signifies hope and reunion after a challenging or dark time. There will be harmony and a coming together in sacred purpose after putting pain or conflict behind you. A birth of something pure and true shall happen under the auspice of Great Spirit. Forgive yourself and others and lay claim to the purity and goodwill that is your heart's true nature. Spiritual blessing is bestowed. Your actions are in accordance with heaven. Complete release and renewal shall take place. The good and true will triumph in the end. Have faith, for your prayers are being answered. Nice. And the next card is Viracocha, honor the light. You are a light bearer. Your sole purpose is to redress the presence of darkness on this planet through shining your light. You are meant to do this in ways that feel most uplifting to you. What brightens your spirit? Do those things. How can you create a loving legacy to remind others of the light? Exploring and expressing the light in ways that remind others to seek the light too is a way to fulfill your divine destiny. Your light is powerful. Use it. And then at the bottom, oh boy. Astanet Lehigh? Mm-hmm. Turquoise changing woman. I am the turquoise moon mother. Oh, that's why and I come to you now with the message of change. This may be change that you want or change that you fear, but either way, I will show you how to use this change to become stronger, wiser, and more empowered to fulfill your divine destiny. Do not fear the changes around you or within you. Trust in the timing of what is happening in your world. Change is upon you. It is essential for your continued growth, and you do not need to fear it. As you allow for this change, remain steadfast in your inner spiritual connection. This gives you courage, trust, peace, and reassurance, and you will find ways to navigate the shift so that your life improves through the process. If you are thinking of making a change, you are encouraged to do so without trying to force it. Be open and do your part to the best of your ability, but also tune into your sense of divine timing. Ask the universe for help and allowing life to unfold according to its own rhythm of creative, loving intelligence. Very nice. Okay, so, and as we, are moving through February, then I'll mention more like the dates, but, really when all of those planets are together in the same sign, there's not going to be like, this day you'll feel this. It's just like, it's all kind of going to be coming one after another. Not negative. I want to be careful to let everybody know that isn't necessarily, that doesn't portend anything negative, right? But we still are in the Mars Uranus just a wee bit, but they'll continue to move further away from one another. I also wanted to mention, because I had said, or Metatron had said in the video that, or he showed me like that Mars Uranus conjunction coming together a week ago, that it looked wet. That's because between where Uranus and Mars were and Saturn, at the midpoint of their energies was Neptune. And I know a lot of people shed tears that day. It was wet, right? I was glad that what I saw, well, now I'm going to stop myself because, well, anyway, I'm glad that everything was safe for, that everything went on the 20th without any problems, any violence, any bloodshed. It was peaceful. And so, yeah. But we'll talk about that stuff again. Because I was about to say something and he stopped me. So, anyway, guys, we're still in it, we're still in very intense Plutonian energies. And when I'm making this on the 26th, so hopefully, It's 6:30 now. We'll see how quickly I can get this uploaded. And I want to send all of you so much love and encouragement as you do for me. I'm grateful to have all of you that we're on this journey together. And yeah, so we'll just plan for good things coming, right? Always happy, hopeful. Um, or Mother Mary is saying expectation, but she doesn't mean in the way that we're demanding it. But happy, hopeful, and anticipating peace and harmony. And yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, everybody, take care. Love you guys. I will speak to you again in about a week. Bye bye.